Here we're back with some more One Piece. We are in the midst of Brook's childhood now. He came from terrible origins, literally living in a dump, and is now befriended a prince and is living in the barracks of the castle. So, real rags to riches sort of thing. Everything's looking up, but something's got to go wrong. Something has got to go wrong. When is it going to be? I don't know. We already know that he does grow up with a good life, up to the point where we've seen him in the previous part of the backstory. So we know that at least his childhood seems to have gone well. But still, like, these are black pages. Something's got to go horribly badly. But anyways, let's just get right into it here. We've got 第1185話ほっときなはれ Chapter 1185 Leave it alone or leave them alone. ほっとく means to leave alone, leave something as is, and that nahare at the end is sort of an Osaka dialectal form of nasai. So standard Japanese is to be more like hottoki nasai, which is that nasai form is an imperative usually used by like an elder to a younger person, like a parent to their children, or a teacher to their students. That sort of nuance. We've got a Boa cover page here. Boa cooking? Tobirae request. Cover page request. Luffy ni tabete moraitai. Hankoku ryori no tokkun chu. I want to have Luffy eat this. Hancock in the middle of training her cooking. It's been a while since we've seen Hancock. Anyways. キャンデル。古くを前の従者とし、礼儀作法言葉遣いを教えてやれ。はい、ルーベン様。Okay. Candle. Make Brook your squire, your servant, and teach him proper manners and the proper way of speaking. Yes, Sir Reuven. 王宮の周りって美人多いな。Man, there's a lot of beautiful women around the palace. べっぴんさん、一つ飛ばしてべっぴん。やめなさい。Okay. He's counting them. Pretty lady, skipping that one. Pretty lady. Okay. Cut it out. You see, she's using that nasai form that I mentioned earlier. Very appropriate for the knight to the squire. でもキャンデルが一番美人だ。But Candle's the most pretty. 様。お前は従者だぞ。You must call me with sama. You must use sama with me. Kyanderu sama. You're my squire, you know. Pants misete. Show me your panties. Brook! 制服が嫌なのか? Do you dislike the uniform? 学校に染まったらいい音楽を作れなくなる。でも船団の服はいつか着て。If I get stuck in school, then I won't be able to make good music anymore. But I would like to wear the guard's uniform someday. Rather, 学校に染まったら, like if I get tainted by school. Yeah, if I get tainted by school, I won't be able to make good music anymore. Oh, that's so cute. He's sleeping with his guitar. His guitar that they gave him, his actual real instrument. お前、羨ましいな。I'm envious of you. キャンデル様の従者だなんて。To think that you're Candle's squire. キャンデル、好きな男いねえのか? Candle, do you have a guy that you like? 様。Candle 様。いるが、I do, but 手の届かない方だ。He's a man that I can't reach. He's out of my league. だから、最もそばにいられるように、剣を鍛えた。That's why I've I've honed my blade in order to be able to stand by him as much as possible. もっと女みたいな格好をすれば、そいつにもモテるぞ。If you dressed more like a woman, you'd be popular with him as well. You'd be liked by him as well. 必要ない。That's unnecessary. おそばにいられるだけで良い。I'm fine just being by his side. そばにもしかして Wait, by his side? Are you saying that could it be 俺? Me? 違う No! キャンデル様パンツも男のやつ Lady Candle 様 Do you wear men's underwear too? 違う No! パンツ見せてくれよ What, really? Show me your panties then ブルック言葉遣いが治らんな Brooke, you really haven't gotten better at speaking properly, eh? 人への頼み事は敬語で丁寧に When you're asking a request of somebody, you must do so politely, with formal language. パンツ見せてもらってもよろしいですか Would you be so kind as to show me your panties? He's got it. ダメだ。ダメに決まってんだろ Of course not. 敬語の前にデリカシーとマナー。More importantly than the speaking politely comes manners and delicacy. 所作を叩き込む。I will beat correct conduct into you. まったく。God's sake. 強さと礼儀は比例するぞ。Your strength is proportional to your etiquette. じゃあ頑張る。頑張ります。Okay. Really? Then I'll try my best. And then he says it in the plain form, 頑張る. And then he corrects himself, 頑張ります with the polite form. And then we cut back to Brooke as an adult. キャンドル様はみんなの憧れで Lady Candle-sama was everybody's object of admiration. まるで国の太陽 She was like the sun of this land. The sun is S-U-N. そういえば Speaking of which ある時エスペリアに世界政府の船が流れ着く事件があり There was an incident when a world government ship drifted to Esperia. 見たこともない権力に国は一時騒然となりました。The land was in an uproar for a moment at the sight of this authority that we hadn't seen before. 天竜人? Was it a celestial dragon? そりゃもう威圧的でした。Indeed. And boy, were they overbearing. 新郎からか、キャンデル様は数ヶ月寝込んでしまわれ。Perhaps out of anxiety, Lady Candle fell into a slumber that lasted for months. その時の国民の暗さと言ったら、Oh, if I could just say how the darkness that the people felt at that time. 笑っちゃ悪いですが、太陽が沈むとは、まさにこのこと。It's bad to laugh, but this truly was the sun setting. Candle is the sun of the country, after all. しかしですよ。But, however, そこからのニュースがすごかったんです。鶴姫。The news from there was amazing. Princess Shuri. 武骨な王子と愛されたあなたの父上が国王に即位。The boorish prince and your beloved father ascended to the throne. それと同時に and at the same time 母上キャンデル様とのご結婚。His marriage with your mother, Lady Candle. エスペリアというライブ会場は喝采に包まれました。The live stage that was Esperia was enveloped in applause, in cheers. そしてあなたの誕生ですよ。And then was your birth, シュリ姫、Princess Shuri. Yeah. 国は沸きに沸きました。The country was as excited as could be, as energetic as could be. お顔を見せて、かわいい。母の勝利。Let me see her face. So adorable. Her mother's genes won out. 話がそれましたが。だから私、ご両親が大好きなんですよ。I have gotten a bit off topic, but that is why I love your parents. 二人のためなら命だって投げ出せる。大恩人なのです。They are my saviors. I would throw my life away for their sake. 聞いてください。投げ出しロック。Listen to my throw it away rock. パパママ。じゃあブルック、私が危ない目にあったら So papa mama, like you're just singing about my parents. So Brooke, what if I was in danger? そりゃもちろん。But of course. 命を差し出しますとも。I would give up my life. パパとママの娘だから Because I'm Papa and Mama's daughter. あなただからです。Because you are you. No, he took a second to pause there. He was like, あなただからです。遅い。You're too slow. 心から言え。Say it from the heart. And then she's pouting. And then he gives her a lollipop. Sword practice. パパ。お父様だ。子供か。I'm your father. What are you, a child? It's like, you must call me お父様, not papa. お父様も大好きよ。I love you too, father. He looks miserable in this panel. シュリ姫、親から独立したいときは、こんな歌どうですか? Princess Shuri. When you want to become independent from your parents, how does this song sound? We got a sort of montage here. Shuri got a little cut on her finger. Brooke desperately trying to... He like punched the guy that did it to her and is trying to give first aid. Covering her with the umbrella. Measuring her height. ほっときなはれ is the title. Leave me alone. So it's leave me alone. 何その言葉? What are you saying? Probably because he used a dialectal form. 西にある上方という国の方言です。It's a dialect from a crab-shaped country in the west. I wonder if that's in reference to like the crabs eaten in Osaka. It must be. He's flirting. Well, no, he's asking to see the panties. He's afraid of ghosts. They're fishing. Hotoki na hare. What's the rhythm of it? Leave me alone. キャンディに釣られる子犬ちゃいますぜ。So now we got Osaka dialect here. I ain't no puppy that can be lured in by candy. At the end, I'll go back and do some analysis of the dialect here because it's interesting. うちは子供やないんやさかい。Because I ain't no kid. シュリが15歳になった年。The year when Shuri turned 15. あれ？音が悪いな。Huh? The sound is wrong. エスペリアから音楽が消えた。What? Music disappeared from Esperia. その年、that year, 国は濃霧に襲われ、霧は半年居座った。The country was assaulted by a thick fog that stayed for half a year. 国の宝であった楽器は腐り、霧はスモッグとなり。The instruments, which were the jewels, the treasure of the country, they rotted, and the fog turned into a smog. 島を飲み込んだ and enveloped the country. It swallowed it whole. 街に響くのは音楽ではなく、人々の咳ばかり。Music no longer resounded in the streets. Instead, it was just the coughs of people. 音楽を届けましょう。Yeah. I'll deliver my music. Yeah. 有毒なスモッグは、the poisonous smog, 数万人の肺を襲い、数百人の命を奪った。Assaulted tens of thousands of people's lungs and stole the lives of hundreds. 霧は晴れる。必ず。The fog will dissipate. It is certain. Oh no. 次々に襲い来る信じられない出来事に、国は疲弊するばかり。The country grew exhausted, grew impoverished even, at the onslaught of unbelievable incidents. 霧は晴れたが、その傷跡は国を追い詰めてゆく。The fog did dissipate. However, what it left in its trace continued to chase down the country to, yeah. It's like the effects of what the fog left continued to be felt long afterwards. Ah, shit. Just, They don't even have to say it. We just see the panels. Oh my god. 国王様, Your Majesty, 世界政府に納める天上金を算出できません。We cannot put together the funds to pay the heavenly tribute to the world government. Yeah. おっと。Shuri's still training with Brooke. 姫は時折未来でも見たかのような動きをなさいますね。Sometimes it seems like, Princess, that you are able to move as though you're seeing the future. She's got observation. 私、ママ、いや、お母様みたいになるの。I'm gonna be just like mommy. I mean, mother. 小説は十分だと思いますが。I believe you have enough potential. However, 王女が前線で戦うなんて父上が。Your father would never allow the princess to fight on the front lines. お父様、最近何か悩んでるみたいなの。It seems recently that father is worrying about something. 予想はつきますが、我々にできることはありません。 I have my predictions. However, there's nothing we can do about it. 私は国王に付き従うだけ。I will simply follow his orders. 海賊になりたいんじゃなかった？ブルック。Didn't you want to become a pirate, Brooke? 恩義が先ですよ。My duty comes first. 自分の夢など二の次で結構。I'm perfectly fine with my dreams. I'm perfectly fine with my own dreams coming second place. その時は私も行くね。Well then, when the time comes, I'm gonna come too. ダメですよ。Absolutely not. 行くよ。I will come. 戦争になる。There'll be a war. 敵は世界政府 and the enemy is the world government. Now he actually is just absolutely miserable after his wife passed. わかりました。I understand. ちょっと団長 Hold on, Captain. 国王様、理由を教えてください。Your Majesty, please tell us the reason. ブルック。1000人の奴隷を要求された。They've requested thousands of slaves. それが今年の天上金を免れる術だ。That is the way for us to be exempt from the heavenly tribute this year. 聖地の奴隷は死に等しい。Becoming a slave in the Holy Land is tantamount to death. そんな No way. 2ヶ月後、政府の船が来る。In 2 months from now, a government ship will arrive. 私は生贄を選び、引き渡す気などない。I have no intention of choosing sacrifices to give over to them. もうこの国は終わりなのかい、団長。Has this country come to an end, Captain? 非加盟国は無法地帯になっちまうんだろう。Unaffiliated countries become a lawless land, don't they? 何もかも略奪されるって本当かい？ Is it true that everything will be pillaged? この前もウェストブルーで国がなくなったって。They said that just recently a country disappeared from the West Blue. うち聞いたことまんね。修羅の海にゃ。I've heard all the tales of the seas of strife. 修羅の海。修羅 derived from Asura, referring to the Asura of Hindu mythology, but also refers to simply conflict in general. 狼も響って近づかん。侍中兵。巨人中民、そんな奴らがおる話。People known as giants and soldiers known as samurai who cause even our lords to shake in fear and cannot approach them. This is the tale of such people. So yeah, this is the tale of the samurai and the giants who strike fear in His Majesty. 蜂を怖がるみたいにな。Like being afraid of a bee. いっぺん噛んだら逃げ出しますせ。It stings you once and then runs away. よう考えや。Just think about it. うちには取らるもんがないさかい。Cause we ain't got anything to take. 確かにそうだ。Hey, that's true. 北の港から上陸された。They've landed in the northern port. 12小隊、迎え。12th platoon. Confront them. Intercept them. ほっときなはれ。There it comes in again. Leave us alone this time. こんなに来るなんて聞いてない。I didn't think that this many would show up. 上陸されるな。Don't let them make landfall. ほっときなはれ。Leave us alone. 地図の端にあるような。We're like on the edge of the map. せやけど消えへんながあんねん。But we have a name that can't be erased. Shit. ここは簡単にゃ。奪えへん。They can't take this place easily. 団長、キャプテン。敵が宮殿にまで。They've made it all the way to the palace. 階段を塞げ。私が行きます。Hold down the staircase. I'll move on ahead. I'll go. なんで戦っちゃいけないの? Why can't I fight? 無茶を言うな。Don't be ridiculous. お前が捕まったら我々は身動きが取らん。If you get captured, we won't be able to move. We'll be helpless. 無茶はなさらず、シュリ姫。You mustn't be reckless, Princess Shuri. 衛兵だ。It's the guards. ああ、シュリ姫。あなたとよく散歩した庭園が燃えてます。Ah, Princess Shuri. The garden which we used to take walks on often is burning. Ah, 国王様。Ah, Your Majesty. あなたと遊んだゴミ処理場がよく燃えてます。The landfill in which we used to play is burning well. ほっときなはれ、ほっときなはれ、地図の端が光り出す。Leave us alone, leave us alone. There's a light shining from the edge of the map. うちが本気で切れたら、あんたらたまげて震えますせ。If I really get angry, you'll all be shaking your boots in fear. 国王様、シュリ姫、Your Majesty, Princess Shuri. Bro. Is that... They already turned her into a demon. But it looks like they tried turning him into a demon too. What the fuck happened? This motherfucker. 戦争終わるよ、ブルック。The war is over, Brooke. That face. That just face of pure astonishment at what he's witnessing. 嬉しいでしょ? Aren't you glad? And the splash text, 宮殿で一体何が? What the hell happened in the palace? That's what I'm thinking. That demonic expression on her face too. Holy shit. So who's this guy? First off. Second off. There's this thing which looks like one of the monsters from one of the Gorose. And then we're just left with this shot, this scene of Shuri as a demon just struck down her own father, who also has demon wings. So did they like turn them both into demons and like make them fight each other to see who's stronger? And then whichever one wins, they take back to the Holy Land? Is that what's happening here? So yeah, everything turned to shit all at once in this one chapter. I don't think the flashback is going to go on for much longer. I think this is going to be a pretty short flashback here, because I don't see what else they do. That face is just so good from Brooke there. It's such just like a pure, like, expression of shock, and Shuri just licking the blood off her cheek as well. I don't know what to say. This is crazy. I knew it would have to go wrong. I just didn't expect it to be so sudden like that. Damn. There's nothing else for me to really add here. Like, it speaks for itself. We're gonna have to figure out what exactly happened here, hopefully next chapter, but yeah. Okay. Kirikae yo. Just to go back to what I was wanting to do earlier, some analysis of the Osaka dialect here used in this chapter. Koinu chaimasse. So this chai, conjugated form of chau. Chau is Kansai dialect form of chigau, which means to be wrong or to be different. But in Kansai dialects, it's often just used as sort of a negation word, so kind of an equivalent of janai. But here it's conjugated as chaimasse. The masse is sort of like masu yo, koinu janai desu yo. Then we got uchi. Uchi, in standard Japanese, uchi means the inside or one's house, but in many dialects, including Kansai, it's often used as a first-person pronoun, often by women, but not necessarily. Then ya, kodomo ya. Ya is equivalent to da. It's as simple as that. Kodomo ya, kodomo da. But here it's kodomo ya nai, kodomo ya nai. So you can see it's also equivalent to ja. So kodomo yanai, kodomo janai. Ja in janai is actually short for dewa, so dewa nai, janai. Both of those become yanai in Kansai. And then we have kodomo yanai ya sakai. So that sakai means like because or since, equivalent to standard Japanese kara or node. So uchi wa kodomo yanai ya sakai means watashi wa kodomo janai n dakara. Then here we have uchi kiita koto omannen. So omannen, that comes from omasu, which is roughly equivalent to gozaimasu in many Western Japanese dialects. It's probably derived from orimasu, the polite form of oru, which is used instead of aru and iru in these Western Japanese dialects. But here it's oman nen. That nen at the end is like an emphatic particle that adds emphasis, sort of like yo, dayo, like that sort of thing. So kiita koto oman nen is sort of like kiita koto arimasu yo, kiita koto de gozaimasu yo. And down here we've got samurai chuhei, kyojin chu tami. That chu is equivalent to standard toyu, basically as simple as that. Toyu, chu. So soldiers called samurai, samurai chuhei, samurai toyu hei. Even in standard Japanese, there is a shortening of toyu, which is just te. So chu and te, roughly the same thing. Somehow I forgot to go over this sentence here, which has two pieces of grammar. Firstly, se ya kedo, which is basically just so dakedo, or just dakedo. And then this one, which is perhaps one of the most important pieces of grammar. So in standard Japanese, when you negate a verb, you add nai, right? So here, kienai, kieru, kienai. But in Kansai dialect, that nai becomes hen. So 消えない、消えへん. This actually comes from the classical Japanese negative form of the verb suru, sen or senu. That sen becomes hen. Similar things happened with the honorific san, which often becomes han in Kansai, so that S becomes an H sound. So anyways, this whole sentence in standard Japanese is roughly だけど消えない名があるんだよ. And then the last piece of grammar here, よう考えや. よう考えや. That よ is equivalent to standard Japanese よく. So in standard Japanese, when you turn an E adjective into an adverb, you change the E to a ku. So yoi, or E, becomes yoku, and like 新しい、新しく, nagai, nagaku. But in Western Japanese dialects, the K sound in that ku gets dropped. So it becomes just u. So yoku is yo. But there is an interesting thing that happens due to historical sound changes. So 新しい, you get 新しく, 新しう, and then that becomes 新しゅ. So it's not 新しう, it's 新しゅ. And then 長い, 長く, 長う, 長. You see, if it ends in an a, it becomes o. And this is due to historical sound changes again. You becoming you, and au becoming o, which happened across even standard Japanese. It's just that standard Japanese retains this old K sound there, which sort of blocks the sound change from happening. But even in standard Japanese, technically, the quote-unquote proper way to turn an adjective, to turn an E adjective into the polite form is to use this Western Japanese style of adverb plus gozaimasu. So technically, instead of 新しいです, it should be 新しゅうございます. Nowadays, that form is seen as very like old-fashioned, but it used to be the standard. And that's due to the fact that the Western Japanese dialect of Kyoto used to be the standard form of Japanese. So a lot of like formal Japanese actually derives from Kyoto Japanese. But nowadays you can just add des to the plain form of the adjective and that's fine. It used to be considered an error, actually. Like not even that long ago, people used to consider adding des to an adjective to be outright wrong in all situations. But now, it's only incorrect if you use it not in the polite form. So like, 新しいだ, that's grammatically incorrect. If I want to say it is new, you don't have to say 新しいだ, because 新しい already implies the it is part of that sentence. That's why they're sometimes called verbal adjectives, because there's sort of a verb to be implied already. So adding the da would be redundant. But there's an exception made nowadays with this for the polite form, just so you don't have to deal with that old-fashioned form that is kind of difficult to understand if you don't speak a Western Japanese dialect. But anyways, I've gone way off topic now. That's gonna do it for this time. I am very curious to see what the hell went down in that throne room. But yeah, so until next time, goodbye.